Ms. Nacha, you've mentioned that you are actually quite skeptical about reaching the second phase of the plan. Now, if Hamas releases all detainees, but Israel keeps bombing, what sort of trust or hope remain for phase two of the plan then?
We will return for the first steps, and one it's 9 months ago when Israel didn't commit to the second phase, and we stuck on the same continuous genocide that Israel is taking place. And still insisting that the plan that Trump put on the table, it's not a peace agreement, and it cannot bring peace for the Middle East as he think it will do that, because the United States didn't have any kind of a pressure that can put it on Israel to make her commitment to this kind of agreement and to go for the second phase of this agreement, or the third phase of this agreement, to reach for the peace process or recognizing the Palestinian state. And we hear the Netanyahu speech from the United States after his meeting with Trump, when he says that the exist of the Palestinian state is not in the agenda. So we are negotiating with a part that ignoring any existence of the Palestinian state, and not putting these issues to be negotiated from the beginning on the table. So they are trying to ignore this point and focus on the first phase and releasing the detainees. And again, once again, we are talking what kind of commitment can we have as Palestinian, or trust for this initiative from the United States. And I said maybe the Arab and Islamic leaders that met with Trump have other hidden cards that they can play to put pressure in on Israel this time. But still, I have suspicions in that. And because of that, I'm not calling this negotiation a peace negotiation, and call it just a new a new ceasefire phase and responding for the war, not anything else till now, because we didn't have really any kind of clear commitment from the United States that it will put pressure on Israel to do its part of this agreement.
Mhm. Dr. Hilani, now you're adamant that this plan is a peace plan. It's a peace process, with peace be the end game of it all. Now, Ms. Necha only thinks that this is just probably a ceasefire. Now, how can the U.S. guarantee Israel's withdrawal when its own military chief says that the battle's not over yet?
Yes, I disagree that this is a mere ceasefire, as I mentioned in my previous comment, because when we look at this framework, it talks about governance, post-war governance in Gaza, and that is not what a ceasefire does. A ceasefire speaks about holding all hostilities from both sides, and then talking about release of hostages, prisoners, whatever. That is a ceasefire. But when that plan is speaking about post-war governance and a framework for how Palestinian technocrats will be ruling Gaza, and how it will be oversighted by an international committee, that is not anymore a ceasefire. That's obviously a peace plan. Now, how far this is going to translate into a real procedure on the ground, I agree that is very challenging. We know that the Netanyahu government has broken a lot of treaties in the past. We have a very good example in South Lebanon. So trust building is a process, and it requires time and commitment by all parties, no doubt. Now, when it comes to the U.S. guarantees, as you asked, so there has to be definitely U.S. guarantees, and without the pressure from the United States, the Israeli government, in my opinion, will try to find sometimes possibly excuses to conduct some military operations. Though, in my opinion, these operations will remain limited after that peace plan possibly will start to take effect on the ground. The statements coming from Israel can be translated as trying to remain a military posture and trying to signal a kind of deterrence to Hamas if they try to, let's say, not disarm. There will be, in response, military actions. I don't think these statements are helpful. But what we have to see coming in the phases to come after the hostages are released is real pressure from the United States on the Israeli government so that the Netanyahu government will commit to the time frame and the deadlines which those parties, I mean the Hamas leaders and the Israeli delegation, are going to agree on in the coming days in Egypt. There should be U.S. pressure, no doubt. There should be also some kind of Arab, I will say, solid front, trying to push always to maintain the framework of that plan going ahead. Because if it's up only to U.S. pressure, I think that U.S. pressure, which we saw in the last few days when President Trump actually squeezed, as Washington Post said, Benjamin Netanyahu to accept the framework of his plan, that was because there was an Arab solid front in New York when he met with the Arab leaders and the Muslim countries for that peace plan in Gaza. So it's not the outcome of the U.S. pressure only. There has to be collaboration, I will say, of all parties. The U.S. pressure on the Israelis and also a committed Arab side to maintain working with the United States and keeping that pressure going forward. So Israel will not break that kind of peace plan which is going forward. And let's remember, when we speak about peace plan, we are not speaking about something happening in a day or two. That is a process, and this process is complicated. So what is really required is trust building procedures, which I hope is going to happen now, but there is a lot to see and there are a lot of challenges playing ahead, and that will require the commitment, as I mentioned, of all the parties to this deal.
Mm-hmm.